Here in the Forum studio, I'm joined by Dave Mountford, the pub's defender and campaigner, along with Ian Cass, the Managing Director of the Forum of Private Business. They're both here to tell us why they decided to build the Forum of British Pubs, which launches officially on the 8th of June.
One of the main issues that we've found over the last decade of campaigning is the fact that we have had no real true representation at government level. Arguably that could be described as being possibly our own inability to campaign as a unit, as a group. But clearly government like talking to large organisations, and what we've found is very clear that they talk to a lot of organisations, many of whom don't actually represent the core people that we're hoping to represent, and that is the tied tenant and the free of tie tenant and the variety of different other tenants that run pubs in this country. And therefore it was, whilst it may seem slightly illogical to to set up an organisation that represents pubs at a time where pubs are facing probably their most challenging period of time in their existence, in many respects it's probably the best time to do it, because it's the time when they're going to need it more than any other time.
It's interesting you say that, Dave, because obviously I've been at this a little bit less, not as long as you have, shall we say, but it does seem bizarre that government seems to be more comfortable having conversations with the people who were regulated against rather than the people that the pub code was brought in to protect. And that as an observation I think is quite interesting. And the other one is, as you say, at the moment the time feels right that we should be doing something to really help publicans, tenants, free houses as well, in this, what is, let's face it, unprecedented times.
I think what's come out of the crisis that pubs are going through is a level of unity that I've not seen in the industry before, mainly on social media through a number of Facebook groups that have been set up, some of them prior to the pandemic, but also a couple of them afterwards, specifically for the purpose of campaigning and getting our voices heard throughout that period of time. The growth of those Facebook groups has been huge. We're talking about 9,000 people who have joined over a period of 3 or 4 months, and they are all saying the same thing. They have huge fears about obviously their relationship with their landlord, whether it be a pub owning business or a private individual. And the restrictions and the challenges they're going to be facing coming out of the lockdown, when potentially that they see a huge reduction in their turnover, an increase in their costs, and yet there doesn't appear to be any sort of representation or sympathy or communication that's going back to governments who are making all of the important decisions.
I think, I mean, let's face it, you and I have got some we are fans of the pub trade, I think you could safely say. So the fact that we're trying to set up an organisation, I know you and I have discussed this, which I guess tries to do 3 things, but at the heart of all of this is we want the hospitality industry, we want the pub trade to thrive and all those involved in it. That's all we're trying to do, really. Everybody at every level through this industry, we want them to be doing well, working efficiently, working productively, making money. And if the organisation we set up does really 3 things, I think you and I are in agreement that this will really have done its job. One of those is to give people a representation, as you say, to be able to have conversations that are solutions based, looking at answers for people and get the trade sorted out. The other one is to give some real practical help at a business level to all those publicans out there, to make it easier for them to do business, to give them support, to help to make sure they're compliant and avoiding any unnecessary risks. And the third one is to bring them some interesting partner offerings that again can save them time and money. And if we can do those three things, I think you and I are probably in agreement that we'll have done what we set out to do and make this industry a far better place.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been critical that one of the messages that we've failed probably to get across in the past from a campaigning perspective is the fact that pubs in this country are very viable. Pubs don't shut for the reasons that people think they shut.
Yeah.
And it's quite a telling fact that whilst we are looking to represent publicans of all sort of areas of the industry, the fact that the pubs that have broken free of the Tide model have all gone on to be very successful, and of course my own pub is a shining example of that. Shows that actually pubs are in this country perhaps shutting unnecessarily, and that is something that I'm really keen to challenge. I think we're both on a very level playing field about being the protection of the great British heritage is also extremely important up there. But ultimately, this is about individuals who are running limited and sole ownership businesses who are going to be needing a unified voice and a support mechanism at this time more than any.
I think that sums it up very nicely, Dave. We go live with the new organisation on the 8th of June. Sounds like we're both going to be very busy men at that point, but I don't know about you. I'm very much looking forward to it.
Very excited about it, and yes, I hope that we will be. I hope it will be very busy for all of the right reasons.